Sound, fix your crown, you talking to the gods. Been trampled down, but now we rising up against the odds. Look, behold the two olive trees. It's real light in the darkness. If you wish, this bloody rivers and the plagues with the blood. Get wind from the spirit in the upper room. The heavens feel them gamma rays. A higher power to the sons of the form of the crop. 12 tribes, you the going first. Of the whole earth, I'm in the script story.
And he said unto a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and also that nation whom they shall send. They will go out into an alien land. They will enslave them and oppress them as for 1 hour of the impious age. But of the nation whom they shall serve, I am the judge. What I told you, what your tribe will encounter in the last days.
You are the prodigal son. You are the lost sheep. You are the people about whom the Bible is speaking, who will stand up in the last day when the trumpet is sounded. Black people are waking up. Black people are standing up. Black people are rising up, and they're throwing fright into that knee-shaking white man. We believe we are the people of God's choice. That's what we believe. We believe we're the chosen people. We don't believe Jews are the chosen people. We don't believe Jews are the ones going to the promised land. We don't think Jews are a part of God. No, Jews are nothing but another part of that same race of devils that come out of Europe. They didn't even come out of the Holy Land. They come out of the caves of Europe. A Jew, a Frenchman, an Irishman, all of them the same thing. A race of devils. They got different kinds. Germans, Irish, all of them the same thing. Just like you got a German Shepherd, Irish Setter, a French Poodle, a Chihuahua, but they all dogs. Furthermore, we believe we are the people of God's choice. As it is written that God would choose the rejected and despised, and we can find no other person fitting this description in these last days more than the so-called Negroes in America. We believe in the resurrection of the righteous. We believe in the judgment. We believe this first judgment will take place as God revealed right here in America. Right. The judgment will take place in America. The resurrection will take place in America. The judgment will take place in America. The separation will take place in America. And the destruction will take place in America. Doom will take place in America. Doomsday will take place right here. This is the place the Bible is talking about. When the Bible mentions Babylon, it means America. When the Bible mentions Sodom and Gomorrah, that's America. When the Bible mentions Egypt, that's America. This is Rome. This is Babylon. This is that wicked kingdom that God is going to come and set flame to in the last day. And you're living in that day right now. And I'm glad.
The dry bones and the white lambs, according to Enoch. Shalom, family. All praises to the Most High Yah and to His only begotten Son, Yahushua HaMashiach, our kinsman redeemer. I would like to just bless you all. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining me here. We're at a crossroads, fam. The word is going forth loud and clear. The trumpet is blasting. Hebrews to Negroes is number 1 on Amazon. It's going worldwide. A lot of people is getting this information, getting this truth, the truth that has been hidden for the past several hundred to thousands of years, that we, the Negroes scattered through the transatlantic slave trade, also the Arab slave trade, Psalms 83, Confederacy, okay, the Ishmaelites, the tabernacles of Ishmael, and also Edom have conspired against the Negroes. All right. When we begin to talk about race, color, things in that nature, people tend to avoid that conversation. The scriptures talks about it. prophecy talks about it. There is no other people on the face of the earth in the history of all the kingdoms on the earth. There is no people who fits all the prophecies like the so-called Negroes. The 400 years, being taken in and out of captivity. The transatlantic slave trade is in the Bible. Deuteronomy 28:68, and some other places. Okay? Luke 21-24. It talks about how we should be scattered, taken away as prisoners into captivity to all countries, led by the edge of the sword until the time of the Gentiles are fulfilled, and the Gentiles trample on the Jerusalem. We are the people of the book. Ye, Kyrie, different celebrities, right? Coming out, sharing this truth, getting a whole lot of backlash, getting a whole lot of getting endorsement deals, getting everything taken away from them, which Esau gave to them in the first place, by various means. But regardless of that, they want to label us anti-Semite. We can't be anti-Semitic, just like Kyrie said, because we are from Shem. All right. But we are definitely at a crossroads, family. All right. The crossroads of those dry bones and those white lambs. We have a choice to make. Each individual who is a descendant of the slave trade, a descendant. We are the descendants of those who were under the cloud and Mount Sinai, who agreed upon the terms of the law and the contract, the commandments, the covenant that was given, the first that covenant. He said, we shall do this, and our descendants forever. We're still in forever. We're still, all has not been fulfilled yet. But the Most High has a plan. And I see his plan being manifested like many of you see it, with your eyes wide open. But we are at a crossroads between those dry bones and the white lambs. The white lambs open up their eyes, trying to get the attention of the dry bones. It's a spiritual war that has been playing out for quite some time. And once the shackles and the chains and yokes of iron around our neck came off, we still had the chains of religion, the not knowing of who we are as a people after having our culture, our heritage, our language, the knowledge of ourselves and the knowledge of our Elohim taken away from us. The Most High is returning those things. But we got to be able to accept it. We have to be able to receive it. We have to be able to see the signs of the times. To get in a quiet place. Do some praying, some fasting if necessary. Because this is real life. And it's happening right before our eyes. Prophecy is being fulfilled right before our eyes. Either you're going to stay asleep or you're going to wake up. And you're going to start crying out to others to try to wake others up. Because we cannot turn back the hand of time. Once that sky crack open, it's a wrap. Once that seal is open, it's a done deal. For the most part. I can go into some scriptures. I can bring some out. I'm not going to do it right now, but at a later date. But the Most High say he will have some mercy on those. But you don't want to wait till then. You don't want to go about your whole life in a daze, in a zone, blind and deaf and stiff-necked. and not paying attention, not trying to put in the work, not trying to fulfill your purpose, not trying to do what the Most High commanded us to do, to love our brothers, to share this truth to the four corners of the earth, to wake up the lost sheep of the house of Israel, to use our gifts and our talents, to bring back tenfold, 100-fold for him, keeping the commandments that we may receive our awards, believing in the Mashiach that we may receive that crown. Okay. But I want to go into the book of Enoch. Enoch was a mighty warrior, one of my favorite ancestors. Okay. You can't even put together the Hebrew calendar without Enoch. You can try, okay? You can try, but Enoch, his books, his records are so important, you can't even put together our calendar, which is solar based. There's a few new moons in there based on Abraham and based on Noah and the ark, but you know, it's basically a solar based calendar. Enoch has so much prophecy. He prophesies about Mashiach all through the book. All right. He talks about the fallen ones. All right. And he talks about the dry bones and the white lambs. Chapter 88 of Enoch. I'll share my screen here. And then we can read. So in chapter 88, I believe 87 through 88, Enoch, he's given us prophetic. This is before the flood. He's talking, he's writing about the children of Israel, about the different dispensations, their captivities, about the tower, the second temple, and how it's been destroyed, how the sheep and the shepherds were led into captivity and scattered. And 89, chapter 89, I'll pick it up. If you want to read before that, chapter 88, and learn some more about that and see what it says for yourself, do that. But I'm going to start from chapter 89. I want to take us somewhere. In verse 1, and I observed during the time that thus 37 shepherds were overlooking, all of whom finished in their respective periods as the first. Others then received them into their hands, that they might overlook them in their respective periods, every shepherd in his own period. Okay, shepherds watching over the sheep. Afterwards, I saw in the vision that all the birds of heaven arrived, eagles, the avest, kites, and ravens. The eagle instructed them all. Okay, prophetic here. All right. This is symbolic, it's an analogy of the different kingdoms, the different nations who will come and attack and begin to devour the sheep. All right. This is symbolic. This is analogy. The scripture used beasts of the field, used the birds and things like that, the cankerworm, the locust. He used those terms and the beast as far as the Gentile nations and how they will devour and destroy his chosen people. Verse 3, and these birds and so forth, they began to devour the sheep, to peck out their eyes, and to eat up their bodies. The sheep then cried out, for their bodies were devoured by the birds. I also cried out and groaned in my sleep against that shepherd which overlooked the flock. And I looked while the sheep were eaten up by the dogs, by the eagles, and by the kites. They neither left them their body, nor their skin, nor their muscles, until their bones alone remained, until their bones fell upon the ground, and the sheep became diminished. Okay, this Malcolm X, he went into a powerful preaching about we being the dry bones, the Negroes here in America, 400 years captivity, you know, the birds, the beasts, you know, been devouring us, destroying. We're the chosen people, not the so-called Revelation 2:9-3:9. Okay. It's not them. We're the people. We're fitting prophecies. We're the dry bones in the valley that's beginning to wake up. In the last days, the trumpet, the horn is being blown. We're getting ready to stand up. We're at a critical moment in history, critical moment in prophecy that we have to really pay attention to what's going on. Get in a quiet place. Get in a quiet place. Observe what's going on, right? And align to what the Most High is doing. Not what the system has been teaching us. The system has programmed us, right? All of a sudden, it's love everybody. It's, all coming together as one, but the hypocrisy in that is that, okay, we've been destroyed as people. We don't know our culture. We don't know, many of us know where we came from and all that, but the truth is coming out, right? You can do all this dirt, how millions of us was destroyed through the slave trade. Millions of us gone through eugenics and the crack epidemic and gang banging, which was people say COINTELPRO and the feds, and put us together, like Willie Lynch letter, put us against each other. Even today, even our own brothers who are supposed to be of the household of faith have hatred and envy towards each other for no reason at all. Those things, those issues that we have to take before Yah and begin to crucify in our flesh, denying our flesh, fighting against and warring against those things, right? But we have a people who had their hands in the transatlantic slave trade on the ships, and you can't say two words about them or you're labeled an anti-Semite, right? And we can't be anti-Semite because we from Shem. That's like Kyrie said. You got Kyrie, you got Gay, these brothers going out there sharing his truth, regardless of their past. If you wanna go and secretly look what they're doing, Most High give you eyes for that to see if they really keeping the commandments. That's something that you have to do on your own time. But the word is going forth. They're waking more people up. And there's a certain individual, certain group of people that you can't say nothing to, right? You can't criticize, but it's all good to talk about us. We're still in the land of our captivities. We're still in the land of our captivities, and we're waking up today. Those dry bones are starting to come together, right? But we're still being devoured. But the time of the Gentiles is about to be over. Verse 7, I observed likewise during the time that 23 shepherds were overlooking, who completed in their respective periods 58 periods. Then were small lambs. Before I go into this, let's look at these dry bones in Ezekiel chapter 37, Ezekiel chapter 37. Let's look at some of this here, because Ezekiel is kind of like elaborating on what Enoch had prophesied a long time before concerning these days. Enoch had a lot to say concerning the elect in these final days. Ezekiel 37. The hand of Yahuwah was upon me and carried me out in the spirit of Yahuwah and set me down in the midst of the valley, which was full of bones, and caused me to pass by them round about. And behold, there were very many in the open valley, and lo, they were very dry. We've been dried out. The birds, the ravens, the dogs, the eagles, they took all our bones out. We've been sitting, not knowing our culture, not knowing, disconnected from our power, fighting against each other, warring against each other, and being attacked and killed. And here we are, just dried up, right? Verse 3, and he said unto me, Son of man, can these bones live? And I answered, O Yahuwah, thou knowest. Again he said unto me, prophesy upon these bones, and say unto them, O ye dry bones, hear the word of Yah. Thus said Yahuwah unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and ye shall live. And I will lay sinews upon you, and will bring up flesh upon you, and cover you with skin, and put breath in you, and ye shall live, and ye shall know that I am Yahuwah. So I prophesied as I was commanded, and as I prophesied, there was a noise, and behold, a shaking, and the bones came together, bone to his bone. And when I beheld, lo, the sinews and the flesh came upon them, and the skin covered them above, but there was no breath in them. Then said he unto me, prophesy unto the wind, prophesy, son of man, and say to the wind, thus says Yahuwah, come from the four winds, O breath, and breathe upon these slain, that they may live. So I prophesied as he commanded me, and the breath came into them, and they lived, and stood up upon their feet, an exceeding great army. Then he said unto me, son of man, these bones are the whole house of Israel. That's the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, Israel and Judah. Behold, they say, our bones are dried, and our hope is lost. We are cut off for our parts. Therefore prophesy and say unto them, thus says Yahuwah, behold, O my people, I will open your graves and cause you to come up out of your graves and bring you into the land of Israel. And ye shall know that I am Yahuwah, when I have opened your graves, O my people, and brought you up out of your graves, and put my spirit in you, and ye shall live, and I shall place you in your own land. Then shall ye know that I, Yahuwah, have spoken it and performed it, says Yahuwah. Okay. And he goes on, he's going to get the two sticks, Judah, Israel was for Joseph will be Ephraim, and you're going to make them all one stick, one army. We're going to come together, those bones. We're in a time right now that the wind is blowing, the skin is starting to come up, those bones are shaking. The message is going forth. Hebrews to Negroes. We're the people of the book. We're supplying and bringing out references, resources, scriptures upon scriptures, all on social media, blasting Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. It's millions of information out there, records, books from 1600s, 1500s, 1100s. The information is out there. But we can't remain asleep. You personally are at a crossroads. We all have to make this conscious decision. We all have to come in line with one another, with the Most High, with what he's doing, with what his intentions is, with what his will is, which is totally separate and contrary to the system that we're in, contrary to the beast, to come together as one. They wasn't saying that when they took us off the ship, when they took our ancestors off the ship, was they? So you think that changed now? You think that changed now the way they're buck breaking Kyrie Irving and just take all this stuff away from you? Freedom of speech and all this stuff. You're not allowed to say certain things. You're not allowed to do certain things. I have a whole Facebook account on the Recruiter. It was a huge platform. They just confiscated it from me. It was 100 and some thousand followers on the Recruiter Facebook music page. You can go back to, it's like almost 50,000 likes, 100,000 some followers, and it's still there right now. But I don't have any control over it. It's a whole person in Vietnam that's over control over it. I've been booted off the whole thing for almost 2 years now. They can do what they want to. You share this information, you definitely may get some attacks. You get booted and stuff like that. But we're going to keep pushing it. We're going to keep going hard. We're going to keep coming, because we got to wake these dry bones up. Right? We got to wake these dry bones up. We got to keep on crying out and sparing not. Let's go back to Enoch. Verse 8. Then were small lambs born of those white sheep, right? Who began to open their eyes and to see, crying out to the sheep. So we got the dry bones and white lambs who may be equivalent to those dry bones, but maybe a generation after that. But we see these small lambs that was born and begin to open their eyes and see, crying out to the sheep. That's a lot of us today who are eyes being opened. You know, the Most High, Yahusha, open up our eyes so that we can see the scriptures, that we can understand that it's about us. We're the virgin Israel, right? Whom the dragon, Revelation 12 talks about, whom the dragon chased in the wilderness, right? The remnant of the seed. We're the remnant. We're the people of the book. The prophets were speaking mainly about this time for the most part. Some of it could be dual prophecy, but Enoch, all the way to Abraham, Genesis, a 400-year prophecy, which wasn't in Egypt, by the way. It was 430 years total in the land of Canaan, wandering, and in Egypt, 215 each. 400 years is talking about us and the judgment that's coming. And in 2019, all hell broke loose. 2020, COVID, vaccinations, all that stuff, mask. Things are speeding up, picking up right now. Okay, it's not by coincidence. It's all prophecy. So the white lambs, the small lambs, are crying out to the sheep right now, crying out to the ones, the older generations who maybe was raised in church, who from their parents who may have had a little hesitancy to go against, this system, to go against the grain, to speak out, to be vocal, to be radical, because we know what happened in the 70s. They shut that down. A lot of our communities that had stood up and had unity, they burnt and struck missiles from the ground, struck missiles from the sky and tore our cities apart. Tulsa, Oklahoma, by the way, and a few other places. But the lambs are crying out right now. We're crying out to the white sheep, telling y'all to open up your eyes, telling you guys to stop celebrating this Thanksgiving pagan holiday that's based on genocide. Okay? Thanksgiving, all this truth has come out, but we still want to post and we want to celebrate Thanksgiving. You want to have your ham and things like that. I'm just serious here now, because the dietary laws are still intact. I mean, do you want to remain a dry bone? Do you want to remain blind? Christmas is not celebrating the Messiah's birthday. That's Nimrod and Tammuz. That has nothing to do with Mashiach. New Year's, this is pagan, Babylonian. Okay, the kingdom is prepared for a prepared people. We have to align ourselves up to the law, statutes, and commandments, because our forefathers, our ancestors was under that cloud at Mount Sinai, who agreed to the terms and conditions of the covenant, that it would last throughout all their generations, their children's children, the seed forever, perpetual curses that will be upon us until the end of the age, until Mashiach turns our captivity around. So we're in the land of our captivity, waking up right now, returning from return to our heritage that we discontinued from, Jeremiah 17:4. Remembering ourselves in the land of our captivities, Baruch chapter 2, verse 30 through 35, that we may return to the land. But we all are not going to return. We're all only those who wake up, only those who return to the commandments and the faith in the Mashiach. Keep the commandments to the best of your ability. Draw a line in the sand. I'll continue. Verse 9. The sheep, however, cried not out to them, neither did they hear what they uttered to them, but were deaf, blind, and obdurate in the greatest degrees. The lamb would cry out to the sheep, and the sheep didn't even hear what they uttered. They were deaf and blind and obdurate. They were stiff-necked. They were not malleable. They were unmoving, unshaking. They were persistent in following the system and the traditions and the customs of man, and that of Mashiach. Our identity has been stolen. Our culture was taken. We didn't know who we were. We have the Arab slave trade and the transatlantic slave trade. Gods of wood, Christian cross, and stone, the Kabbalah stone. This is the Psalms 83 conspiracy, the Psalms 83 confederacy, the tabernacles of Ishmael, the Muslims, the tabernacles of the Ishmaelites and Hagarenes, the tabernacles of Edom. Okay, Edom. This is Britain. This is NATO. The false Jews, those who you can't say a word against today, right? Who became one with Japheth and Esau, the descendants of Esau. We got to open up our eyes and our ears. Some of us are at a definite crossroads, all right? And time is not on our side for some of us, all right? We're not going. The Most High has been patient with us. He's turned his face back towards us. He's fighting on our behalves. Verse 10, I saw in the vision that ravens flew down upon these lambs, upon those lambs. So some ravens are going to fly down upon us. This is telling us that, and it says, that they seized one of them, and that tearing the sheep in pieces, they devoured them. I saw also that horns grew upon those lambs, and that the ravens lighted down upon their horns. So Enoch is prophesying here, and he wrote down, that he saw the dry bones after all the nations came and devoured the sheep, the children of Israel. He saw that white sheep was born, and white lamb was born on the white sheep that began to try to cry out to the white sheep, but they didn't hear. And then ravens come down to devour those same little lambs. Sounds like Jacob's trouble is going to be continuing a little bit more. Sounds like that some persecution is going to be coming. Okay? It sounds like they're going to turn it up a little bit on us. That we're going to have to be refined. That we're going to have to be made white. That we're going to have to be purified. Taking some more of Babylon, or coming together more in love. Depending more on the Most High. Because affliction is definitely would be one of the tools to use to implement that, or to make sure that Most High often use the hand of our oppressors, the Gentiles, to fulfill his purpose and getting his people to where they need to be. Okay, so I'm gonna finish here on, and let me go down to verse 25 here. All right. Then I saw that the man who wrote the book at the word of the Most High opened the book of destruction. Destruction, right? We know destruction is coming. The story of the Gentiles. The time of the Gentile has been going on since around 70 AD. When they destroyed the temple and our ancestors fled deep into Africa and more places. And the Romans came, sacked Jerusalem, and eventually set up their hijack, their false form of Christianity, and trying to replace Israel, trying to replace the covenant, Babylonian, merging the pagan religions with the truth, with a little bit of truth. All right, and that's been going on during the whole time of Gentiles. The Gentiles been listening to replacement theology, Caesar Borgia, the whole whitewashed pictures that the Romans came and conquered with, conquered everyone, and made the papal bulls that decreed that our people were to go into perpetual slavery forever. All right. So as far as you Christians are concerned, as far as, faith in the Messiah, yeah, we have our faith in the Messiah, but which Messiah are you talking about? All right. There's many Christs, but the Hebrew Israelite Messiah is the real one who kept the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. Everybody, all the apostles, even Paul kept that. So the gospel that Christians has been preaching and teaching for many years now has been another gospel that Paul warned about. It's a different gospel. It's not the same gospel. And that's a whole nother lesson, whole nother issue. Now I'll continue. Verse 26. Well, let's go back, 25. Then I saw that the man who wrote the book at the word of Yah opened the book of destruction, of that destruction which the last 12 shepherds wrought, and pointed out before the Most High of the sheep that they destroyed more than those who preceded them. So these shepherds destroyed way more sheep, more than the shepherds that were before them. Okay. I saw also that the Most High of the sheep came to them, and taking in his hand the scepter of his wrath, seized the earth, which became rent asunder, while all the beasts and birds of heaven fell from the sheep and sunk into the earth, which closed over them. So we see the Most High coming, seizing the earth, the heavens rolling back, the beasts, all these different nations who has been devouring the children of Israel, sunk into the earth, and it closed over them. I saw too that a large sword was given to the sheep, who went forth against all the beasts of the field to slay them. So a large sword is going to be given to the sheep in these coming days here, the end times. These times have been shortened, so a large sword is going to be given to us. Right, children of Israel, this is prophecy. It's prophecy that by the hand of his people Israel, Ezekiel 25 talks about he's going to punish Esau, Edom, by the hand of his people Israel. It talks about how in Jeremiah 16, verse 16 through 19, that first he releases the fishers, then he releases the hunters, right? Who's going to hunt them out of their rocks, out of the caves, right? He's talking about his people, his children. Those who led us to captivity are going to the captivity. He's going to raise up the tents of David, book of Amos 9-7, I believe. He's going to raise up the tents of David from as of old, right? And it's as it was ruined. So he's going to raise us back up that we may possess the remnant of Edom and all the heathens who are called by his name, right? So this is the power that's going to turn back, that he's going to give to the Israelites. He's going to give us a huge, large sword, and we're going to destroy these beasts. We're going to destroy all these nations who came upon us. Verse 28, but all the beasts and birds of heaven fled away from before their face. And they saw a throne erected in a delectable land. Upon this sat the Most High of the sheep, who received all the sealed books, which were opened before him. Then Yah called the first 7 white ones, and commanded them to bring before him the first of the first stars, which preceded the stars, whose form partly resembled that of horses, the first star which fell down first, and they brought them all before him. He's talking about, I believe he's talking about the fallen archangels, the fallen angels, the watchers. He's beginning to judge them and Satan. Verse 33, and he spoke to the man who wrote in his presence, who was one of the 7 white ones, saying, take those 70 shepherds, to whom I delivered up the sheep, and who receiving them killed more of them than I commanded. Now he's taking the 70 shepherds, right, who killed more than the Most High commanded him to kill. So those 70 shepherds, as you go to Genesis 10, there's 70 nations. It's the table of nations, which is 70 nations. Each nation had an angel over them. The book of Daniel talks about how the angel of Greece was hindering his prayers, right? Fighting with Michael. So these nations have a power over them, and which were used to kill the most highest portion, who is Jacob, who is the Israelites, right? So they all went confederate and came against the Most High's children, and he's judging them according to Enoch, as Enoch is prophesying. And this lines up with the rest of the text, all our books that's been scattered, just like we've been scattered. Behold, I saw them all bound and all standing before him. First came on the trial of the stars, which being judged and found guilty, went to the place of punishment. They thrust them into a place deep and full of flaming fire and full of pillars of fire. Then the 70 shepherds were judged, and being found guilty, were thrust into the flaming abyss. Verse 34. At that time, likewise, I perceived that one abyss was thus open in the midst of the earth, which was full of fire, and to this were brought the blind sheep. Look at that. The blind sheep were brought, which being judged, right? Which being judged, after they was judged and found guilty, were all thrust into the abyss of fire on the earth, and they burnt. These are the blind sheep. These are the ones that the little lambs has been crying out to. The lambs, we're the Israelites. We're the Hebrews. We got to return to the law, statutes, and commandments. We got to believe in that Hebrew Israelite recite. We got to keep the Sabbath. The Sabbath is forever. No work. You know what I'm saying? Stop celebrating those pagan holidays. Thanksgiving, Easter, Christmas. Return to the feast days of the Most High. Return to the feast of unleavened bread, Feast of Tabernacles, Passover, Feast of Trumpets, Day of Atonement. Return to these days, but they wasn't listening. They didn't listen. So as Enoch prophesied, those blind sheep, right, who wouldn't listen, who were deaf and dumb, like he said, obdurate, stiff-necked, rebellious, unmalleable, were all burnt in the fire. 36, the abyss was on the right of that house, and I saw the sheep burning and their bones consuming. Okay, so the Most High is not playing. He's not playing with us. Many of us are on a crossroads. This truth is going forth. It's going for a fast, going to the four corners of the earth. He said that once this gospel reach the whole world, then the end shall come. Right? That wasn't talking about the Crusades. That wasn't talking about Caesar Borgia and the Christian Church under the papacy, under Rome, the new Roman religion, under founded by Constantine, and the destruction of Jerusalem, destroying all the true Israelites, taking our heritage, the Arab slave trade and the transatlantic slave trade. The gospel is talking about is this true gospel to the Israelites, to the northern kingdom and the southern kingdom, coming together as one under the Mashiach, that he's bringing us a new covenant, a covenant of forgiveness, which is the beginning of which is our engagement, right? When he shed his blood and resurrected, that, and we believe in him, get baptized, believe in his name, and we accept him as the Most High. Well, accept him as our Savior. Okay, we receive him, and we begin to do our best to keep the commandments. That's we've been engaged. The marriage supper is when it's going to consummate the marriage, the eternal covenant. This is the gospel, right? That we can be a light to the Gentiles. There's order in this thing. That message is going forth thanks to the internet, thanks to all of us coming out together with a joint effort and our various platforms, doing the work, trying to wake up Israel, being those little white lambs, trying to talk to those dry bones, trying to talk to them. He's using us to prophesy to the dry bones. We all Ezekiel right now. We all the sons of man. The woke Israelites believe in the Mashiach. We're all the sons of man, prophesying to the dry bones, speaking that fire, those two witnesses, those witnesses at the end. We all witnesses, Jake. We all witnesses. And we're speaking to the dry bones. We're speaking to the white lambs, or the white sheep. Tell them to wake up, prophesying, dishing the word, pushing the word. The dry bones is coming together. Are you seeing it? I pray that you open your eyes. You may be a white sheep today struggling with Christianity, struggling with Jehovah's Witnesses, these man-made religions that took what belonged to us, separated it, made doctrines out of it to further confuse the elect, to confuse the Most High children, to confuse the saints. You have to see yourself in the book. You have to see yourself in the scriptures. You have to see yourself in the prophecies. See yourself as the Most High sees you, not how this system sees you, not how the beasts, the ravens, and the birds and the dogs see you. But see yourself how the Most High see you, as the apple of his eye, as his elect, as his fervent lover, his firstborn, his children that he shed his blood for. All right? So I pray this message was edifying. I pray it stimulates some thought, and that, you know, it resonates in your system, resonates in your spirit, and that you begin to shake up a little bit, and that your bones begin to rattle, and that skin begin to be put back on you, and that you may declare the works of the Most High in these last days. I love you, family. Shalom, and Yah bless.
Oppression and slavery, elitists and liars, religion and sanity, we all face the fire. Blessing and cursing was all on condition. Tell not the head, cause the nation didn't listen. Scattered in slave ships, talking about fishing. Losing their identity, control was the mission. Desensitizing sisters, whitewashing scriptures. American dream with white picket fences. Earth having birth pains, war, death and tragedies. New world order is the Zionist tragedies. Eruption of corruption in our theaters. Infiltration like the Pharisees and Sadducees. But my people waking up, cause Yahweh shaking us, Holy Spirit shaping us, prepared to be taken up with the angels and Yeshua on his throne. We reign with the King, and Jerusalem is our home.
Walking in the valley of dry bones. Wake up, you dry bones. It's almost time to fly home. We're going back to Zion. No more brother dying. No more mamas crying. That's life in Zion. And the
me a Jericho. Judah going in first, spiritual and natural. Sounding off that war cry, situation critical. Was taken by them slave ships, stripped from a language, afflicted us with slavery. Our minds where them chains went, driven out of Israel, locked away in prison cells. Curses now perpetual with no one who can pay the bill. Time is almost winding down. They don't need for crying now. Babylon is gonna fall, you Edomites is going down. Israelite by blood, washed clean by Yeshua. My kinsman redeemer, the Lion of Judah. Come on, let me breathe on you. It's almost time to fly home. Quickening the inner man, shaking up them dry bones. Moving in the spirit, all your nation about to feel it. Israel and Judah, one branch, let's get it.
Walking in the valley of dry bones.